The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back. It's been actually 3 weeks. We had due to the school holidays, I unfortunately missed out an extra week, so it's been 3 weeks since the last one. I hope everybody had a chance to go through the disclaimer, reminding everybody there is no personal advice here. This is just general investment advice as per the disclaimer. So if you need any personal advice, you need to seek your own personal advice through your financial advisor to see if this is appropriate for you. Now, what I'll do is I'll switch over to the main screen. As usual, we'll cover the XJO, the S&P and gold and so forth before we start on the stocks people have requested and a few currencies. So I'll just switch over, just give us one moment. Can someone let me know my other screen at the moment? It's not showing what I'm supposed to be showing. Can everybody tell me if they've seen the Phoenix software? Just put your hand up. Okay, so the Phoenix software, everybody can see. So it's only my screen, which is fine. I'll just double check my screen. Yep, it's fine actually. Okay, mine just came on now, so let's continue on. Okay, the Dow Jones first. Let's have a look at the monthly chart as usual. We'll start off with the greatest time frame. And as we can see, really, I mean, we can look at this time and time again, and what we'll notice is not much change. As we can see, it's still consolidating inside that rising wedge. It really does not tell us any more than that. That red line, or at one point was resistance, now it's support. It is above that, but it's inside or between the dash line and the solid blue line. So it's still within that rising wedge, but it is more now supported than anything else, as it is above that red line, which is now support. It really does not give us any more than that. So let's go to the weekly chart now, and what the weekly chart will tell us is basically, as we can see, the blue solid line on the top just going across. Really, it is where it is right now. You can see it's all consolidating well and truly below that. More importantly, what we really got to be watching is, you can see the support here and the resistance there. And what that's telling us now, it really still is in a sideward motion. The only way we can start looking at this breaking above is if it closes above this resistance point. Now, if it closes above, then we can do two targets. But remember, it will still be, even though the target might go past this point, this will be still its brick wall, and in fact, that above it. So let's assume it breaks above. We'll do a target above that now. I think it's time because it's pretty close, and potentially we'll even do a down target as an estimate, just telling us really this could still go sideways for a while. So we get our price targeting tool. We just go to the bottom here, we go to the top of it here, and we go roughly where we think it's going to break, just on the line itself, and we click, and as we can see, it's at the 19,000 point level if it breaks. Keeping in mind, if we just extend this line, it is above this line, which is your brick wall. Okay, so we would only consider trading to this level unless it clearly breaks strongly above that. Okay, so we're doing this now. It's because we can see it is pretty close to where it is now. Just in case it breaks, we have to start looking what is that potential upside, and where it sits is basically, we still consider it to this blue line. That's all the weekly can give us. It cannot give us any more than that. We can do a down target if we wish, and this is how we do it. From the top here to the bottom here, we go right across, roughly straight down below, and we click there, and if it does break, that's where this pattern is telling us you can go as low as that, which is your previous, basically where it sort of went down then rallied up from there. So we'll leave these two targets there now to remind us that's where we are in the cycle. We're pretty close, obviously, where it is on the top end, at the top side here. It's telling us it's more likely to break up than down, but we have to keep in mind if it does reverse, that's how we do both sides of the target. We'll go to the daily chart now. And again, what does the daily give us? Right now, this rally that it had here, it's still below the previous rally, okay? If it went above, we say, we got, in this case here, that's your high, that's your low, that's your lower high, and this is a lower low, and this is rallying to close to the previous high, but it has not broken above that, okay? It has not. So we can't say much. If it breaks, goes to a new high above this point, then we can say we got a higher high. All right? And if we get a higher high, we can do this. Now I'm going to do this, and I'm going to rub it out. Right? So we can do this, probably that. But this is only done after this high goes past this high. It needs to have a higher high to validate this. If it doesn't really validate, you really don't have it. Okay, so I'll just remove that. Just keep in mind. But if it does go above it, if this does go above that, we can technically do this then. That's where we are. So if it closes and goes above that as a higher high, then look, we have another pattern here, and we can do a target out of it also. Okay, but right now, because this is not higher, so we need to remove all those. So if you, for some reason, tomorrow, early next week, that happens, you need to put those lines in place, and you can start looking at targets. Okay, that's all we can really do for the Dow. We can't really do much more than that. Actually, we can probably still do this a little bit. Actually, we can probably leave this line. Okay, so you can tell us if this will fail, it'll fail at this point at least anyway. Okay, that's pretty much the Dow Jones. Now we'll go to the S&P 500. INX. Okay, now again on the monthly, we can see still in that rising wedge. There's nothing much we can do. It really doesn't give us any more information than that. It still tells us that, which is basically, it's still an up market. It's an uptrending market. It's got higher highs. Now, this is a bit tight in here. We need to see it a bit closer, so we'll go to the weekly. We can't really add anything else to this. So let's go to the weekly. Okay. Again, looking at the weekly, really all we can do is extend the lines. There's nothing more we can even do on the weekly. It's pretty small there, actually. Okay, that's all we can do is really extend the lines, unless you want to zoom into this area, but we might as well look at the daily chart for that. Okay, and here's the daily chart. Again, looks fairly familiar, like the Dow. Go across, like there you go there. Again, needs to have a higher high to really, you can put your line from there, I guess, in order to say, okay, I've got a bit of symmetrical triangle, I can target up and so forth. But again, we haven't got a higher high, so really this line's not really valid, because initially, if this line was there, I would say, but it's pretty messy here, so it's really not valid. So you might as well just remove it. This line is the valid line still. So if it goes higher than that, higher than this point, then we can draw the line again on this, and we can start looking. If it breaks above that, then we start looking at a new target on the upside also. So that's all we can really do here for the S&P 500. Just having actually just a little close look there. Just have a look at this. Just on the last couple of candles. I'll just clone, see if it fits. If we do get a break above, we do have, if anyone remembers some of the workshops, what do you need for to get a flag or a pennant? A minimum of 3 candles, and it's got to look pretty clean, and this looks pretty clean. It has broken above, but it is on the resistance point. Okay, so if it breaks above here, conservatively I'd do it from here. You're looking at 2,137 point. So again, this is only valid if it breaks above. So I don't want anyone to forget and decide let's go along here. So just remember, you need to do a price target as long as it breaks above that. So it's higher than this point here. Okay, and that's pretty much all we can do for the S&P 500. Okay, just tick them off the list. Let's do gold next, XAU. Again, we'll go to the monthly. If we can recollect from our previous videos or webinars, we were in an indecision. We have a potential mare's tail, but at the same time, we've got a lot of support here. So for this mare tail to work out, it needs to break well and truly below. And in order to look at the upside, what we had is this broadening formation, this huge broadening formation. We broke below it, and we rallied and hit the brick wall on top of it, and also the top of the mare's tail. So again, we're still in this indecision, and that's why we had those targets. It can go either way. It can, if it breaks above, it can go to around the 1485, 1,500 bucks. If it breaks below, it can go to the low $970 to $919. So on a monthly basis, gold still hasn't made a move. It's still in that indecision scenario. So got to watch it quite carefully. So in other words, any trading in gold, you've got to do it in this little range here until it actually goes one way or the other. But right now, it's maintaining that range in here. Let's look at a weekly if there's any more. And that's the range we were just talking about, by the way. You can see the weekly. Okay, and that's that range. Anything that you do, it's got to be in this range. The last target we did on the webinar, it hit. That was the flag. Now, this might be looking like a flag too here, actually. Let's have a look. Let's clone that. It looks like a good flag. Now, a flag, of course, like anything, any pattern, it's only as good as it looks, and it's only that particular pattern that we're looking at if it reacts in direction to what the pattern suggests. Now, it looks like a bullish flag, but the only way we can say it is a bullish flag when it breaks in the direction of the flag. And let's do just an estimated target if it does, anyone that trades gold. So basically, potential upside is to the line, as we can see here. So if this breaks on the upside, we're looking around the $1,260, $1,270 target. So great trade if you're trading gold. So that's what we're looking at there. Looking at the daily now. It didn't reach to the previous target. That's out of this channel. It's consolidated at this point. What has it got here? There's no little trend there at all. Let's clone that. And that's basically, it's again in a smaller channel, and that's what we're looking at as a potential gold trade. As this was the potential flag on the weekly. That's what we were looking at, this bit here. So there's nothing much there. If it breaks on the upside, then we say, yep, it's the weekly that we use, not the daily. This is just a channel on the daily. Small channel developing by the looks of it. How good it's going to be, time will tell. Okay, that's gold. Let's look at the XJO. 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 ASX 200. Monthly first. Excuse me. Again, the trend is still up. It went into an accelerated trend here, but the channel, basically what we've done is we've drawn this line, copied it, and put it there, and that sandwiched it between there, which this is support, right, which this breaks down, and now it goes up, resistance, came down, resistance, came down, resistance to the top here, pretty close to the top there, down, and back to the top of resistance. Okay, so that's all that is. We can't really do much more than that. But what we've also done is by putting this line across to the top of the highs as a resistance, now we got these candles being supported by this line. So now this is a support line for these two or these three candles. Okay, let's have a look at the weekly. Out of this symmetrical triangle that we've done here, or if you went and put a line right across, it's a descending triangle that broke on the upside. We've did a number of targets, as can be seen here. The price has been hit. Okay, the targets have been hit and they've just been consolidating. Let's just clean that up a little bit. Take that one out just to see, and we can see, look, I'll take that off for now and then I'll put it back on. You can see it's just been consolidating in this area here. This line goes right on the top. Okay, this is from the bottom, and again this can represent, if you removed this line, okay, because it's on the weekly, on the monthly anyway, you can see this is now also still a rising wedge. It's actually converted to that. So what we can say up here is, all we can say is, if we draw a line from the top like so and draw it from the bottom like so, it's consolidating in this tight point. This is not a pennant to do a target. It's, as we say, it's only as good as it looks. This doesn't look good from that perspective. But if we look at this area here on a daily, it's quite large, and this could be an ascending triangle to the upside. Okay, so let's have a look at this on the daily now. And that's what we're looking at. So this is invalid now. There's nothing you can do with this, so you might as well remove some of this stuff now, like so. See, line straight across the top. See, we hit these targets here, and what we can say is from these, because equal top, equal top, equal top, we can technically, it's not higher, but we can, because it is, there's three of them in a row there, so this is validated, and we can extend this a little bit longer, go right across, like so. Okay, so basically this is technically an ascending triangle. Now just confirmed by the data how many data points we have. You can start all the way from here to the end. It is 31 data points, so there's more than enough to make an ascending triangle. So if this breaks on the upside, we can do targets to the upside. If it breaks to the downside, we'll do targets to the downside. How do we do that? Always do the most conservative target. So the first point to the top, and we go across to where roughly it would break above that, above here, and just auto size, and we can see that is a 6,153 to 6,181 target. But remember, it has to break above here. All right. Now, we know the resources are coming down. I mean, that's all there is. You hear on the news, iron ore prices low. So what's going to drive this? Well, the banks usually are the ones. So I've got requests to do some banks. So let's see how they look if they say higher prices, and maybe that will give us a hint that that's what's going to drive it, basically. So however, if it breaks to the downside, we go from here down to this point to go across to roughly where we think it's going to break, and there it is there, down to 5,700, and let's extend this line, and it'll hit the brick wall on this one if it starts to come down. So keeping in mind, which way is it going to break? Is it breaking on the upside? Is it breaking on the downside? If it fails and it breaks on the downside, well, then we can say we're looking to this line here, and we can reassess everything again after that. Okay, so XJO based on which way it goes, and let's wait and see. Okay, next on the XJO. Oh, well, let's have a look at Macquarie Bank first. That's MQG from memory. MQG. Whoa, that's really heading upwards, isn't it? Looking at the monthly. Well, it's vertical. That's all I can say about it. It's past the initial target on the monthly of $74 and still going north. What else we can see here? Anything else on the monthly? It really doesn't give us that much. Actually, no, that's probably way past it. I never noticed that before, but let's have a look at this thing. If it, that's north. Equal highs. Let's look at the weekly. I can't really see much on the monthly anymore than that. Weekly. We actually had an $81+ target. It has hit it and still going higher. Let's clean the bottom one up first. Let's see if there's anything else there. Is that a flag here? It should be a 2-bar, not the cleanest. We'll look at it on the daily if there's any higher price actually. So the weekly target has been hit. Let's look at the daily. It really doesn't give us that much more than that at the moment. Okay, daily. It's hit our targets here. This is saying the 81. Oh, look at this. Flag. Clone. Yeah. That's not the cleanest there. Let's do 2 targets, one clean and one not so clean. I'll do the clean one first, which is really from down here to there to there, and not so clean is here. And it's where we are anyway. There is no other higher target. That's the only thing that's scaring me a little bit on this one. I'll go and look at the weekly one more time, just have a look at that. So this target's actually hit $82, which is the top side of it, 82.85. Let's have a look at the weekly again. I'll just remove this target for a minute. What I was looking at, on a weekly chart, you only need 2 candles as a minimum to do a target. Clone. I better enlarge that just to see it a little bit better. Oops. Just go back. That's the flag we were looking at, just enlarged it there. But I don't have a decent flagpole. That's the damn thing. I don't have a good flagpole. Where's my flagpole? I can't say it's down here. Then it's not proportionate properly. I thought maybe there is a little bit more there, but I can't really say anything on this anymore. I can't use the weekly. I'll have a look at the daily one more time. We'll see if there's an well, there is an accelerated trend, but let's see how it goes. that's the best we can do, I think. It still looks vertical, but I am a little bit concerned now because the target has been hit, so we might see consolidation here before anything else. I would probably be inclined to take a profit at this point. And if I was in any profit out of this flag, that maybe the safest thing to do is take the money off the table on this one just for now, because this might go sideways for a while. There is no other target higher than this, weekly or monthly. Just double check the monthly. No, not even monthly. There really isn't. No, it's whatever targets I had, they're gone. That's it. There's nothing else. Just this way. And initially, from here to there, to its breakout point. So even on the biggest range, this is the target. So just having a look. Yeah, I'd be more inclined. If anything, yes, it might go higher to this in here, but that's meeting the huge reversal target, and there really isn't anything higher than that at the moment. So I'll be more inclined to take the money off the table. Okay, that was MQG. Next one's ANZ. Monthly. Again, $35 now I'm looking at will probably be support. Okay, so $35 will be support. Even if you went across from here, the highs, and even went across like so, you can see that becomes the support area regardless. So that becomes support. Go to look at the weekly. Pretty much like I did before the highs, which is still part of this huge rising wedge. Initially the inner rising wedge that it broke below, it becomes now the brick wall, and the concerning thing is if this goes high, probably this area might be pretty hard because this is a major brick wall here at the moment. So any upside I think is still limited, even though we had a target that we discussed last time out of this flag. Everybody remember we said the brick wall is here. So anything that we've done with these brick walls here is we have to respect those till it goes above that. In fact, it actually stopped on this brick wall here, the red one, so that means it's respecting that. So I'd be looking on the daily to see shall I take my money off the table. Just have a look on the daily now. The daily, we did a target and it met that target. Now what it has done, it has got pretty much a little top. It has broken below this consolidation area. If we extend this little line across, it's where its support is. If you're still holding this, I would say that, where's my price targeting tool? Normally you do a target from here to the downside, like so. But because this was the brick wall, we understand why it stopped there, but it can technically go to that. And at the same time, if it broke on the upside, we would have been targeting that on the upside. So looking at that, at the moment, I'd be very cautious. If it breaks, as you can see, below that, that's where it looks at the next level. And if it breaks below that, it'll go down. Somehow, I find it difficult to believe, to be honest, that it's going to break below that. Just if I do that, just as a support area. You know, if I'm looking at overall, that's where the overall consolidation would be. However, if I'm holding this, I'd probably still hold it unless it goes below this section here. Then I'd really bail out. Obviously, if you bought it from here, this is not very promising. So then it might be worthwhile getting the heck out of there and see what it wants to do. We said this is the daily. In the weekly, we can see brick walls up here, folks. I mean, that's the critical point, knowing that we are on the top of major resistant points on a monthly and a weekly. that should really sound alarm bells a little bit, at least if we see consolidation first before we see anything else. So if we've seen this on ANZ and we saw that major target on Macquarie, and then we're going to see if we see another bank in the same situation or another two banks doing the same, then we have to say to ourselves, is this going to consolidate here for a little while and go down south? I know a number of brokers usually expect or anticipate that May is a down-moving month for our stocks. So is this going to be true? No one knows, but time will tell. However, looking technically, I think I'd be taking some money off the table here. Not personal advice. Please, I don't know your personal circumstance, but I would be taking some money, what I've seen so far, off the table. Let's have a look at next one. Let's look at CBA. Monthly first. We can see that we had a target. It didn't quite get to it. It's a humongous channel here, as we can see the two bottom lines here, one here and one at the top. Huge channel. It was in this rising wedge. It's gone above it, and again it's pretty much inside another channel here. The only thing with this one I like is at the bottom of this support area. So it's telling me there's a lot of strong support here and he really wants to go higher. So any downside on the monthly at least, it really is minimal. Let's have a look on the weekly. Again, we had this flag and our target is on the upside. Now, let's have a look here. Is this another flag? Let's clone. This is a potential another flag as long as it doesn't go much lower than here. If this breaks on the upside, then it's potentially more upside. So there's no reason to not believe it. We had a flag down here, it did the same. We had a flag here, it did the same. We had a flag here and did break up, although it's coming back here. If we extend this line here, maybe this is support. Yep, becomes support also. So, oops, get rid of that. And this one, that's better. It might come support, it might do support there and just continue up. But Commonwealth is anyone that's really looking potential upside here compared to what we saw Macquarie and ANZ. Commonwealth, at least, it's got all the appropriate patterns to say, so far there is more upside to come on this one here. Looking at the daily, as we can see, we have hit our targets. And if we take this line and go, where are you? Technically, can even go this low. Well, let's just put it up here. Okay. Again, this is what we were looking at. All right. So on the weekly, it looks like a flag, but you can't really treat it as a month. I think we've got more than 13 bars here, and the maximum we use is 17 bars. So we can't use it as a daily flag. There's too many bars, but primarily this is what we are here. All right. So this still looks pretty good, in other words. This line here is not really valid anymore. As you can see, it's gone right through everything. So we can remove that line. And if we clone, do we get a channel here? Not very good, is it? So we don't need to use that one. Won't fit there. And on the bottom side, it is right here on this line. It's at support. So if this moves down to the downside, then we can target down. If it moves to the upside, we can target on the upside. Okay, so that was CBA. Let's look NAB. They're fairly similar, aren't they? On the monthly, we can see the price target has been reached, and it is on the upside of the target. Right, so it has been reached, and we've got major resistance here. Yes, it's got a little bit to go on this side, as long as the lower time frames tell you there is more on the upside. On the weekly, we'll probably have to look at it on the daily to get a better, but the weekly just shows that it hit our target and really doesn't tell us anymore. Let's go to the daily. Out of this flag that we generated this target, but like anything else, if it fails, it'll fail near its previous highs. Right, and that's where it failed. In other words, it didn't close above this high. It came close to it, it opened up high, then went down. So if anything fails, a flag fails, that's where it failed. Not to say it has failed yet, because if this turns around and continues, this flag is still valid. Now, but looking closely also at where we are here, if we clone here, we have another flag. If this breaks to the upside, let's have a look. Again, this is telling us at that level. So we don't know yet, but we've got already one up there. Just leave that one there for now. So we don't know if this breaks above or below. Because it actually went to, we got a higher high, all right, we can say, we can actually do that. Okay, so that now becomes an ascending triangle. How many candles are in here? Let's have a look. From the bottom here to the last one, we have 24 candles, which is more than enough. So basically, we have a potential ascending triangle. If this breaks to the upside, we can do targets off an ascending triangle and a flag here that will basically confirm this particular target. So watch which way it breaks and look at an appropriate trade. So it looks pretty good. Either way, you can do well out of it, up or down, whatever the case might be. Okay, that was NAB. What do we got here? WBC, all banks here. So what this is saying so far, potentially, if it does go beyond this point, what we can see is we can hit that higher target, but it's critical to watch it. If you're in the market, maybe watch it and see if it breaks one way or the other. But just keep that in mind. If it breaks on the downside, get the heck out of there pretty quickly. Again, when we look at Westpac on a monthly, we can see currently for the second month in a row, the price is above the top resistance area, which is now support. Okay, so basically that means that we can clean this up a little bit. Well, that's not valid anymore. Okay, that's valid. We can utilize that, hence our target. We can probably clean that up out of the way. We can leave those, they're valid there. And that's basically it there. So that target is valid because it's above, at least on the monthly. I don't see anything else potentially can be on the weekly actually, but let's look at the weekly also. We can see the targets that we had are well and truly surpassed that. Look, this is quite interesting. This could be a flag here, on a bullish flag. What we can say, this is a descending triangle, so but be more conservative. We can say from here to there, which is the original target. Just clean that up. Go to the next one. We can say from here to there. And that's the highest target we can get out of this, by the way, which is at the top. So we hit those. Now, can we get another target here? Initially I was looking at this. I'm just trying to think the pole's too far apart to be confident with it. So if it's down here, this pole is enormous. Let's see if I can do a conservative. Basically, you have to go to the bodies. But it's enormous. Potentially, this is saying that if that's a valid flag and we really want to be past this point, because we're not in at the moment, we might have gone in, but past this point, then potentially this thing can go to $43. Now, let's zoom down to the daily and see what anything's there for us. Same as the other one, isn't it? That's a higher high, so first of all, there. Pretty tight, pretty narrow. The only real proper clean one I'd say would be this. Consolidation. It's closing the gap here also. If this breaks on the upside, I'll give you an up target. If it breaks on the downside, you've got a downside target. Upside target. Downside target. I think that's all you can do with that one also on the daily. That's ANZ. So that was Westpac. Okay, next one I was asked to do is AFJ. AFJ. Who's AFJ? Not a lot of data on this. Not much monthly data at all. I can't do anything with the monthly. It really is just a bit consolidation here. If whoever's holding this one, obviously you looking and wondering what the heck you can do with it. What I would say to you, if it breaks below here, I would get the hell out of there. If it goes below its previous low, so put it on the low. If it breaks below here, realistically, what I would say is you do this: click down to the bottom, across. If it breaks below here, you're looking down 74 cents. And let's have a look at the daily if there's anything, but it doesn't appear to be too much. Just a huge consolidation phase. You would hope, I think like we did on the weekly, you'd hope that it consolidates. Right, like it consolidates. There's nothing else here. I'm trying to see where there's a flag maybe, but the pole's too far apart, so you can't really work out. Sorry, I can't help you anymore with that one. There's not enough data. Next one was asked is TGR. Okay, monthly first. Again, with this one, there's not that huge amount of data either. where you can have a lot of trend and so forth. It's if, you know, it's in a narrowing phase. If it breaks below here, your top is really here. Your section is there. This point, you're looking down to $2.90 mark as the next target. Let's have a look at the weekly mo. We can get some better data on it. Your move up is over, by the way. I mean, that's as simple as that. All right, your uptrend is finished. This is what we call a broadening formation. And God, I hope I'm wrong on this. Normally the way broadening formations work, you go from tops to lows. So here to its breakout point, down to there. That's why I said I hope I'm wrong with this. Clone. And target, you can also go from there to there to there. That was the $2.70 mark. If this does break below here, I don't know what they do. Tassel group, don't know what they do. Oh, sorry, what I forgot to do is I forgot to look at your questions. My apologies. Sorry, just, where are we here? I do apologize. I was supposed to be looking at the questions and I totally forgot. That wasn't very nice of me. I'll have, while I'm doing this, I'll just read the odd question also. Okay, that was TGR. Let's have a look at the daily for TGR. Okay. Do you take it from here? No, you can't take it from there. It doesn't look right. Can you take it from there? I think that's about the best you can probably take it from. Okay, clone. Well, in this channel, it's saying it's going to go low, at least to the bottom of the channel in the short term. Again, there really isn't a great deal here. I'm just trying to find reasons, any reason at the moment to support it. See, I'm trying to get a pattern there and I can't seem to get a pattern. It's pretty much almost all over the place. At least for patterns anyway. Just delete that. Sorry, I had to turn the mic off. I had to sneeze then. Didn't want to get used to hear me sneezing. I really can't say a great deal. I'll try to get it a lower, maybe even lower here, but this body that's there makes it more difficult. If this is even in a failed ascending triangle, and this is its retest, let's say, even just to do a target out of that, everything that I do is really downside. That's what it's really doing, just downside. Yeah, down to $3.14 off that one. So everything we seem to look at is down, even on the daily. Like I said, I hope I'm wrong, and we don't see the $1.69 if you got this, but what I can see, if it definitely breaks this, you're looking at the $2.70 mark, $2.60 mark, and according to this, at least from this point of view, is when you look at the a failed ascending triangle, is looking at $3.16, which pretty much, if you extend this line, pretty much, you know, the next day you'll be looking down here within a few days. So it appears TGR, you really are looking at downside. Okay, next one is SHV. I've just a comment. Someone just said when we did MQG, Macquarie's paying dividend in a few weeks, so it's probably going to hold its price around there by the sounds of it. And someone says sound quality poor to low. My apologies if it is. I don't know what I can do about it. It's part of GoToWebinar, so if someone can let me know or just confirm, other than the person that's just put that comment up, that if the sound quality is poor. Just if you just put your hand up, just see if maybe I can try to tweak it or do something with it. At least it is for Graham was pretty poor. Is anyone else saying that my sound is poor? Okay, no, so that's fine. I'm sorry, Graham, you're the only one at the moment, so it could be something with your side. So you need to check your system out. Okay. Let's have a look at the next one. What do we say here? Was SHV. And someone said it's crystal clear for them. SHV. Sorry, Graham. You need to have a look. SHV, select harvest. Monthly. Look, this one looks pretty good, I must say. You can't even do a proper line. You can, it's valid only because this is higher than this, so it's a valid. And what we do have here is a potential flag. Let's just clone it, but it's not the cleanest. I have to stress out. You've got a tail a bit below it, and that gives us a target at the bottom of the pole. I'm using the tail, but I'm only going to go to the highest body, which is there, and its breakout point is just there, and it's telling us we're looking at the $8.60 to $9.20 target of the monthly chart. So it's telling us we have higher targets on the monthly. Let's look at the weekly. And that's going to cut it. So we really got to be looking at like so. And like so. Well, that becomes support. You know what? That looks like a flag to me there on the weekly. Clone. That looks like a flag. In addition, it looks pretty good, this one. From up here, we go this way, and that gives us not the best symmetrical triangle, but it is a triangle. Okay. So the best one I think I can utilize is this flag out of the lot. Looks probably the better of the lot. So from the bottom, I'll do it more conservative to the bodies. Again, this goes even higher, 920. The previous target was, I think, 860 to 920. This one's 920 to $10 or 10.30. So this looks quite promising to the upside. Again, monthly and weekly look pretty good. Daily looks ballistic. Even on the daily, on the last thing that we see here is from there to clone. There's your flag again. So again here to there to breakout point. Look, you've got 840, 860 off this one. Now, who knows what it's doing right now? This could be a pennant here. You know, this way, this way. If this breaks to the upside, which according to the pattern, what we got here, it should. Now, bottom of the pennant, the pole, to an estimated breakout. Again, there's your $9. So daily, weekly, monthly look fantastic. Okay. I just had someone else is there says, I can't hear you. I can't hear it so well. I think there's a problem. I can only say to those that got a little bit of sound problems, I've got quite a few people are saying it's crystal clear on their end. I can only assume it's something to do with your end. I can't, if people can hear me clearly, I can only assume that any problem that somebody might be experiencing on their side is something to do with their end. I apologize for that, but I don't know what else I can do about it. If everybody said, or most people said I've got a problem, then I would say something's on my end. But if it's only two people that say there's a potential not as clear is the question on one of them, and one person it says it is quite disturbed and not at all that clear. Sorry about Deepak. You're the one with the worst problem at the moment. Okay, that was SHV. Next one I'll do is WPL. Actually, the other person says poor audio connection. I don't know. That's about the other worst one. These are the two, so I apologize, you two guys. I hope I'll try to be as clear as possible. WPL. Crystal clear by Young White. Someone says make sure my Skype is off. My Skype is not on, so that's all I can say. Somebody else made a comment. Client network congestion, nothing to do with you. So sorry guys for the two, they've got a problem. Anyway, WPL, let's just go back to the analysis now. As we can see, it's still in a consolidation phase on the monthly. What might be happening if I can just zoom in into one particular area just here. Look, what could be happening at the end, it's not confirmed yet. There might be a pennant. It hasn't broken pillow, but it really doesn't give us any more than that. What it really is just consolidating very tightly. Each one of these is a month, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 months it's just been in this area here. We'll go to the weekly. Again, looking at the weekly, it really is just consolidation in this area. In fact, if I probably can actually go downwards. 1 second, just do this. Like so. Look, potentially this could be a pennant, but not the best quality pennant. How many bars? Just double check that the bars that we have here. 12 bars. Well, it's that borderline now, so if it goes any longer, you can't even use it as a pennant. It really is a pretty dismal consolidation area. Let's go to the daily. And clean it up. Really, all we got is just this in the daily. We need to see which way it's going to break, down or up. Again, typically the same type of targeting. So just which way it breaks. If I'll do 2 targets for the heck of it. On the upside and on the downside. These are the 2 type of trades you got. Depends which way it goes. There's nothing else I can say about WPL. Next one is Rio. Okay, Rio. Rio, again, on the monthly, we can see it's in a very tight consolidation area. Till he moves out of that, you really can't do much. All you can do is trade inside the consolidation. Try to see a target inside this in the short term to trade the up and the down. There's nothing really else you can do with it. Weekly, exactly the same thing. There's nothing, again, it's in this consolidation area. All we can do is just extend it. And try to find a pattern inside this, say on the daily, to do a bit of trading on the up or down. So it's really from $62, $63 down to probably $53. So there's around a $10 range, $9, $10 range. Looking at the daily, as we can see from this pattern, it went to one target basically. It missed the second target and fell after that. And for those that, just to be safe than sorry, what you really got to do is when you get a target, like you got this target here, and you let's just do it, just to do an example, from here to there, and it broke on the upside and you get 66. You're wondering when you hit 65, shall I sell or shall I not? Now 60 was from another one from here basically, but what you've got to do when you're trading, of course, is you put it up that if it breaks away, you put this almost like a tight stop, you know. If it breaks away, get the heck out of there, take your money and wait and see what you do next. So that's all you got to do. Don't wait for it to retrace back to below or at where you purchased it from. Now, what we do have here is now consolidating in this area. First of all, the actual pattern this is not valid anymore, okay, because it just cuts through price, so you need to remove it. And this one, like so, and the one from the top is like so. So that's what you got basically. In this triangle, you've actually broken below. So this is what this is signaling, is from here is a flag, and what that's saying is from here to there to its breakout point is a $50 target, or $58.80 target. Now it's broken, it's retesting, and it's still heading further down according to this triangle. I have to say it's not the best looking triangle, but it's still validate, but it's not the best quality. You got 2 touches at the bottom, you got 1, 2, 3 touches at the bottom, but it's not, the data's not evenly distributed. That's the only problem with this. Okay, so it's not the best quality. So start looking at smaller targets, and maybe, can I see potential here? It's not the cleanest. Sort of like that and like that. And that's sort of a bearish flag there, and pulse there, breakout. That target, it's at say $53. Okay, so that's Rio. So on the daily, Rio's saying lower prices to come. Just remember where the huge brick wall is. So this target of $50.80 on the daily, it brings it down to this line here, okay, pretty close. So no matter what happens, this is your major brick wall here, okay? And if you look at it on the weekly, that's where the weekly is, okay? So be careful here, even though you're getting lower targets, this is where the brick wall is, so only trade it to the major brick wall unless it breaks through that. Deepak asked, is there inverted flag at the right end? Are we talking about Rio, Deepak? If you can confirm that for me. And I'm assuming that is the one I did. Yes. And are you referring to the one I just do just now on the daily? You talked it just earlier. Okay, no worries at all, Deepak. So that's done. Okay, that was Rio. The next one is BHP. Now, I just want to quickly check some of the previous comments that were just made. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything out. So just give us just one moment. Oh, somebody, Deepak said, it is 992, not 920. Oh, sorry about that, Deepak. Just remember, everybody, this webinar is recorded, and as soon as it gets converted after I finish, as soon as it gets converted, I will basically upload it to the usual spot, so you can use the previous links that you've got to get there, and for those that don't have that link, the system will be sending you a link by this time tomorrow, or just before this time tomorrow anyway, and you can always use the same link to go to the same site. Okay, so you can get all the past webinars also. Okay, now BHP monthly. Look, at the end of the day, BHP resources are heading down south. Everybody knows that. Okay, this is a major symmetrical triangle, which is a reversal. Okay, which it means we've hit the top. There's a double top here, by the way, and if you want to look at the double top, it's humongous here. So this is a reversal as a symmetrical triangle also. All right, and it has broken down, and it's retesting it. Sorry then, I had to temporarily pause the mic to cough. So what you can see is this is part of the symmetrical line going up here. Okay, it has broken below, hit a target, came back up and retested it. Theoretically, this should go down lower, down to 22 bucks. Now, the good thing about this, when we look at it, is what else can we see? If we do that and clone that, and it obviously has broken. Now, this is monthly. This is a bearish flag, all right, basically suggesting more downside. So the pole is here, down to the bottom here, to the breakout, and back to this area here. I'll just clean it up. Just remove the target. Anyway, so you can see it's down to around the $19.20. In fact, that showed around $19, $19.90. So around the $20 mark. It's from this flag. The symmetrical triangle is already saying it's going to go lower. So everything's suggesting further south. And this support line here is huge between the two. So you've got a touch there, right across. Now, obviously, we're expecting lower than this line. So what I would do is I would trade it to this line and then see if it breaks, then continue on further down. That's the way I would be looking at it. Okay, so monthly is suggesting lower prices to come. Let's have a look at the weekly and the rest. Let me just make a note here. Somebody asked for XFL, and then FM&G. Just double check that. Okay. Now, go to the weekly. So what do we got here? Now, remember the monthly this was the flag of the monthly, this big thing, right? And that's the pole up here. Okay. So what does this give us? First of all, this is a low, this is a lower high, and this is going down lower, but it hasn't gone lower than the previous low. But we can still do that. You can probably safer to do that. What else do we have here? Really doesn't give us much more, does it, on the weekly? We can't get any more than that off the weekly, actually. Cloning it's not going to do anything, we're just going to cut it. So go to the daily now. We came short of that target, that's for sure. Now, this is not the best descending triangle, I can say that. You can cut through the body of that a little bit, only because it's pretty close, so it's anything with a small tangent, because this is also closed above, so you can actually draw it across like so. And you really can't do any more than that at the moment. You've got to see which way it's going to break. It looks pretty messy. If it breaks to the upside, you've got a higher price to go, but again, this came and closed the gap here. And how close did it come, all the way or not? Not quite all the way. Still hasn't, it didn't have fully closed the gap either, by the way. So this might even go up to this level because of it. I've only seen it a handful of times done, but it can have potential to do that. No, there's nothing else. I'm shocked. You can't really draw a line because this low is higher than that, the lower high, so you can't really draw a line there. It's not going up, it's going down. And how about cloning? Oh yeah, that's sandwiched between the two. Well, that can be valid, but it doesn't add anything in addition to it. So this point has been there. I think we just need to see which way it's going to go, up or below. But if it does go up, I'm suspecting it'll probably just come to this area here, close the gap. So it's not one that is easy to trade at the moment. It looks pretty messy. So the only good thing about this one here is the monthly flag. But that's not something to trade. This is more a position taking, a short position for a long period of time. So I can't really add much more than that, I'm sorry to say. I'll do SOM on that one at the moment. Next, SOM. Nope. It's going to have to be cloned. It had in the past, it had a flag there, but it would add no value to where we are at the moment, so it's not going to do us any favors. It has got an accelerated trend. And this is within inside the accelerated trend. Hit the top of the channel and really can't give us any more information than that at the moment on the monthly. On the weekly, clone. Yeah, too tight. Can't do any more than that other than it's at near support area. And look at the daily. Just curious here. That takes it further out. And nothing quite actually meets on it. You're trying to see if there was a double top on the daily, which it was, two tops together. Normally it breaks below and comes and retests it, but this has gone back to the middle, which makes it very difficult. Even if it was just one off bar, then came below it. But there's no, it's not clean. You can't really say much on it, much to my surprise here. But let's have a look. Anything else? God. Again, there's nothing much you can do with this one. There's nothing really there. No flags, no triangles, no anything. Sorry, again, there's not much I can do with this one. It's not making any appropriate patterns. Regardless, on the downside on the daily, we're saying there's more to go down, but remember, it's only to this point here. Okay, so that's where major support is on the weekly. There's major support there, so downside is minimal at the moment. However, if it does break below that, then you've got quite a push down, but it doesn't appear to be. This still shows it's in an uptrending mode at the moment. Okay, there's nothing else I can do with SOM. I was XFL. So we're looking at the ASX 50 leaders XFL. It really is showing more upside than anything else. How about a clone? I wonder what that look like here. Wouldn't that be nice? Straight up. How about in here? Again, just putting it tight on the bodies. Got it weekly. Oops, wrong one. I cloned it by mistake. No, has to go there then. So what this does basically, broke above it. Now this becomes the brick wall, major support area. And looking at this, which way is it going to break? It comes down to this, doesn't it? Technically speaking, if this was a flag, it wouldn't be the best, just the way it looks. If you look at it on the daily now, I think that's the best way to treating this, is looking at it on the daily. You really go from, now you can do this because this is a higher high or equal high, but it's a higher high. And you can see it's just a little bit above it. So what you've got here is an actual ascending triangle. If this breaks to the upside, the smaller target is if it breaks to the downside, and you can do a slightly bigger target than that. So you really can't do any more than that. In fact, if you look at the overall, what you've had is from here, like so, and you had from here, which is a descending triangle, and your targets were initially from there to there, but let's go to the bigger target first. We'll do the big one, see where it takes us. And you can see right here. So from the bigger target, it actually met right there. So we've hit the huge target to the upside on the 50 litres. Now it's crunch time. Basically, which way is it going to go? So the right thing to do is put two targets down and trade the direction of the break. If it breaks to the downside, trade it to the downside. If it breaks to the upside, trade it to the upside. Now, from experience, this to me should break to the upside. But remember, it doesn't matter what you think or you say or how much experience you have, you trade what you see, not what you think. Because if we trade what we think and because we think it's going to do the opposite, we never take the trades and we never make money. However, if we trade what we see and get on the ride, we should do consistently better than any other way. So trade what you see, not what you think. So regardless of what I think it's going to go on the upside, if it breaks on the downside, I will trade the downside. That's the best way to trade it. Okay, that was 50 litres down to the daily. I've got FMG to do also, but what I'll do is first is I'll do the Aussie dollar, the euro, and euro Japanese yen. Then I'll do the FMG. If anyone wants me to add anything else to that, one or two more, I'm happy to do that. I'm within reasonable time, so we should be okay. AUD equals, okay. Now, Australian dollar monthly, hit the target. Now look, as I said last time, this line here, the bottom major support, technically speaking, all right, I can take this line, sorry, start again. I can take this line and move it to the bottom here even, okay, or there. It doesn't matter because the reason I can say that is, look, touch, 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 and it's down here, or it's a little bit higher. It depends because we're not cutting bodies, we're just cutting tails, okay? And you can leave it there or there. It doesn't matter. Now, originally, this was heading for a descending triangle, a falling wedge, but it broke below it and hit the parallel line and stopped right there on its target. Now, there's nothing more we can do other than we are at some major support here. We have hit the target and we need to look at lower time frames. Weekly, we hit the target initially, so that was the target. So from where was it? From here to there to there, we hit that target. So let's remove it. We cloned that line, and you can see that's the line there, and we are consolidating. Okay, we are consolidating. Let's look at the daily. There's nothing more that can actually add to that. Initially, when we were looking at this phase of consolidation, it broke above that. It was forming a flag, as you remember last time, and I said if this is a bullish flag, and I say you've got to break on the upside first. If it is, these are the targets we could have taken on the way up. Unfortunately, as we can see, it didn't break on the upside, it broke on the downside, so they all become useless. So this is where we are now. I think one thing we can witness here is there's a lot of consolidation going on, okay? Let me just clean this up. There's a lot of consolidation that's going on, okay? So what we can say, it's consolidated there and right across here. Let me just clean the other ones up a little bit so we can see it a bit better. Okay, so this is a huge consolidation phase. That's not necessary anymore now. I've deleted the wrong one. So full consolidation. Now one thing it does tell us, if this is a small double bottom, so to speak, also it's a huge, well, we can go right across that, like so. It's broken above, and if we were doing a trade, and obviously I'd be looking at the lower time frames, however, to get an entry, but what we can confidently say is this should go up to about there, around the 79 mark. So this should rally back to around the 79 the way it's looking. And if it does that and consolidates, then we're going to have a beautiful consolidation for trading. And then we can say we will have a 75.5 or a bit under 75.5 to a 79. We will have around a 3.5 cent trading range, and when that breaks one way or the other, down or up, we're going to get some fantastic trading. All right, that's the good thing about it. So this is setting up some really good trades. So yes, this is looking for trade up to around 78 to 79 cents, 78 8 or so to about 79 cents. And like I said, if it stops and consolidates there, if it breaks above, potentially you can have an 82 cent move, or down to maybe down to 73 cent move. So some good potential coming up on the Aussie dollar. The next one I will do is euro against the US dollar. Excuse me, I just have to cough 1 second. The microphone. Again. Okay, on the monthly, we can see that all the targets have been met out of this major triangle. Okay, so when major targets are met from major reversal pattern, then you have to expect there's going to be consolidation. Let's look at the weekly. Potentially, we hit even the weekly targets. So let's have a delete down here and see if we can do anything. There's nothing there we can do with any pattern here. So let's go down to daily. Daily's starting to look more promising. Leave that for a moment. That target's been reached. Move that for a minute. So what we do have now on the daily, actually let me just draw this again. Okay, so basically we've got two tops here. We've got consolidation at the bottom here, and we don't know if this is a flag. We don't know that. If this is a bearish flag, and the target obviously if I do is going to be a lot lower, let's just do it. I'm only estimating down to $1.02. If it goes to that, you only trade it down to this support area. Okay, technically speaking, this is so close, this can be considered a consolidation phase where it is. So don't be surprised if this just doesn't do a flag and just goes up to the upside, or comes down to here and stops here, then consolidates. So what it appears to be, we saw the Aussie dollar consolidating to the upside. So it's got a major resistance area. We've got that target up, and we've got this on the opposite side. Now they're both against the US dollar. Now any trade, like I said, you take to the downside, just remember this major support line if it breaks down below. Okay, now what we do have also here, this is the consolidation phase, like this two tops are, okay, or potentially this two. This is basically saying if this does fail, doesn't go any further, this is the reason why. Now if we go from the top to the bottom to its breakout, and we're pretty much just slightly below it. So again, from this consolidation phase, if this breaks down to the downside, really I keep stressing out, this is a major support area, and it could stop there, not necessarily go down this low. If a pattern fails, it'll fail to its previous peak or trough, in this case trough. Okay, So I only trade it thus far. Obviously, I would use maybe a 60-minute or 180-minute or whatever to get in rather than a daily chart, but primarily that's what we're looking at. And that really is the euro. Now, the other one I was asked is for the cross rate, euro Japanese yen, which is EURJPY and equals R. Enter. Okay. Next one. Just looking at the monthly chart just here, there's nothing much you can do here. I mean, you draw a trend line there, but what can you do with it? There's nothing much you can do. Break below that. Target-wise, from this point to that point to that, you went past it already, so it's sort of useless. Need to go to the weekly. Let's have a look at that. Flag. This is actually scary now. I'll do one more actually before it targets. Okay. Two targets first. It's saying a lot lower to come. And what's scaring me is this one. Down to 117. That's on the weekly. Go to daily. What I'm looking at from here and here, which is a failed ascending triangle, in addition to just the bottom here, is a bearish flag. So I'll do the flag first. I'll go to the bodies. I'll do it more conservatively. Down to there, which is past this line. And in addition, so I would be comfortable to say at the moment, because I'm putting this as support, this target, this pattern suggests down to the 124 below mark. This other pattern, the flag, suggests as low as 122. Now, I can technically, let's have a look here first. Take this and lower it a bit to there. But I think that's the best I can do. So both targets suggesting lower prices. And on the top side, you have resistance here on the top here. So lower that. That's pretty much on the Euro US dollar. FMG. Monthly. The targets that we've done pretty much have been met. Really, there's nothing else that the monthly can give us. and we do have an accelerated downtrend, really is like so. And if I clone that, it's where we are on the thing. Let's move it in a bit more. And the target's been hit, so I'll just remove it just to clean it up a little bit. See what's happening there. Remove that one too. Okay. Well, the weekly doesn't give us anything else, I must say. But because of this huge consolidation pattern, see up across here, well, the target, I'm not sure if it's this one here that we're at. Yeah, it's that one. So really saying there is lower prices to go. Okay, so there is definitely lower. Those the short-term targets from the flags and all that, they've been hit. So there's nothing else here to tell me where I can target at if I was looking for an entry price. So I'll have a look at the daily. There's nothing on the daily also. There's nothing there. Messy, confused, people struggling. The downturn's already started. So all this is telling us if it breaks on the downside, again, because it's struggling at this point, means your next down target is going to be, I'm only estimating here, so down to $1.26 when it breaks down below that. There is no positives in this chart to say it's going to go higher. The overall pattern is saying it looks like it's going to be lower prices to come. Someone has asked to do Origin and REA, and what time is it now? We're gone nearly, geez, an hour and 40 minutes or so. My goodness. Look, I'll see how quickly, I'll do Origin and I'll see how we go from there. ORG. If you could in future, if you can let me know earlier, I can plan it a little bit better. So if you give me these instruments, just remember just at webinars at phoenixo.com.au for what instruments you want me to analyze. I'm happy to do that. Where are we? Where's my mouse? There. Again, on the monthly, it's still a bearish flag here. It's a very strong candle on the upside here, but it is still a bearish flag. If it breaks below, that's what we're saying the target is. There's nothing more we can add to this. On the weekly, we're still on the same thing as before, nothing different. We can't add any more to it. We can't even draw in support or resistance lines on this. In fact, what it was originally, probably like so, and like so. And the target on the downside was from the top to, first of all here, to the downside that it broke. That was its first target. And that's where it changed as a rising wedge. Okay, there's nothing more in here that can tell us anything else right now. We can't go draw a line here because this low is lower than that. If that was higher, then we can draw something underneath it as maybe some sort of other channel. In this case, it was more from the flag that we changed from the monthly. On the daily, we can hopefully do something here from remember this was a bearish flag to do a target. It stops just below it and reversed. So when you start seeing it coming back, you really got to close that position out, and that invalidates that now. So that's not a flag anymore. So that's actually gone higher than the previous one, so we can draw a line like so, but we can't do anything else yet here. So we have to see what happens to this. How about if I clone it? No, there's nothing you can do. Looks pretty messy there, doesn't it? We just have to wait to see more data on the right hand side of the screen, and then we can start to analyze it more clearly, but there's nothing else we can do on this one. And I'll quickly do one more, which is REA, and we'll call it quits after that. Monthly first. Again, we did this a while ago, and what we can see, a lot of consolidation just between these 2 points, which this is considered a major double top, by the way. So this is huge as a major double top. If this breaks to the downside, we're going to see a lot lower prices to come. Of course, it can always break on the upside too. So monthly's telling us wait and see. Weekly, just inside this little channel still. Break from here. And that's the highest target on the upside, but keeping in mind there's your resistance here. So anything that happens there. So nothing on the weekly. These targets, just to confirm them, I think the biggest target's from here. Oops, wrong one. Damn. Where this broke out there. Yeah, that was that target, the biggest one. Leave that one there. That's still valid, by the way. They're still valid there. Obviously, we hit a target here, and it's just been totally consolidating. That's all it's been doing. What we can say with confidence is that we are in this consolidation phase. Right? So it's consolidating in here, and we just got to let it play out, and before we make any other decisions. So we can take these out now. They hit the target. We don't need them there anymore. So you can see the consolidation phase is there. We don't need that anymore either. So we really just got to wait and see. Now, because that is lower, we can probably go from there to there, but it doesn't make that much of a difference, does it? So basically, again, these are still valid because they're off this major pattern, and it's still valid. And we are in a consolidation phase for a potential upside target, and we are and the consolidation phase is based really on these 2 points, 51.26 and 46.13. Okay, and that's really all we can do. Okay, folks, that's basically it. I hope everybody got some value out of tonight. I hope things are going your way. What I will do at the conclusion of this webinar, I'll just hit the convert button, and I'll start converting it over. Hopefully within the next few hours or so it takes, I will publish it. And the link you'll get by tomorrow 7 o'clock. For those that already have a link, of course, just utilize it anytime you want. You can see all past and current webinars. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and I hope to hear from you in the very near future. Thank you very much, and good evening.